This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
Nothing is going to be on the table until we see the Strait of Hormuz open.
The challenge is where we are today and where we go forward.
Color me skeptical.
It is likely that there are more cases which are not yet detected.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Call it a deal to make a deal. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mark Webster. With the current U.S.-Iran ceasefire repeatedly shot full of holes on numerous occasions, a memorandum of understanding has now been drawn up to renew the ceasefire. But the leap from paper to fact appears large. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent of the White House this afternoon.
It is a multifaceted agreement, and nothing is going to be on the table until we see the Strait of Hormuz open and the Iranians agree that they have to turn over the highly enriched uranium and that they can't have a nuclear program.
Delaware Democratic Senator Chris Coons weighing in on Fox.
The mullahs, the Ayatollah in Iran, have been a threat to the region and to global security for decades. The challenge is where we are today and where we go forward. There's still about 900 pounds of highly enriched uranium buried somewhere in Iran. We don't know exactly where it is.
A Pakistani intermediary is headed to Washington to try to move the process along this weekend. However, if you think this is just another delay by Tehran, retired Vice Admiral Mark Fox tells Fox, you're right.
That's all I think that they've been doing all along. They were happy with the ceasefire, and I think they're happy with a 60-day extension. Color me skeptical.
Fox used to be second in command at CENTCOM. A former senior CIA official with top secret clearance is accused of stashing millions of dollars in gold bars in his home. Court documents show the feds raided the Virginia home of David Rush, found over 300 gold bars worth over $40 million. He said they were needed for, quote, work-related expenses. Rush was hired after passing what's supposed to be a rigorous background check, despite falsely claiming he graduated from Clemson and was also a former Navy pilot. JFK, Washington Dulles, Atlanta, and George Bush in Houston. Those are the 4 airports passengers arriving in the U.S. from several countries affected by the Ebola outbreak now have to enter through.
According to the CDC, those travelers will head to a designated screening area, complete a brief questionnaire about their travel history and symptoms, have their temperature checked, and undergo additional health assessments if needed.
Tarana Hassan is CEO of Doctors Without Borders USA. She says frontline medical teams are still working to try to contain the spread of the Ebola virus.
We are in the early stages of the outbreak. It is likely that there are more cases which are not yet detected. So it will take more humanitarian workers.
So far, at least 220 people have died from the Ebola virus, centered in Congo, neighboring countries at risk. The news isn't good at the scene of that paper mill accident in the state of Washington.
Officials now confirm 2 workers dead, 9 still missing and presumed lost beneath collapsed steel and chemical-soaked debris. The tank holding highly caustic white liquor ruptured with explosive force, flattening nearby structures and sending a chemical plume drifting toward the Columbia River.
Monica Nelson reporting. Vice President J.D. Vance served as the commencement speaker for more than 900 grads at the U.S. Air Force Academy today, telling them that artificial intelligence is going to have a major impact on what they wind up doing for the nation.
AI will inevitably change warfare. And of course, as you've learned over the last 4 years, it already has.
The grads are made up of new officers from both the Air Force and U.S. Space Command. While the impact of AI isn't unique to those new military grads, it's eating into the job prospects of all new college grads.
The unemployment rate for recent college graduates is 5.6%, notably higher than the overall unemployment rate of 4.2%, says New York Federal Reserve data. 4 years ago, the rates for the two groups were nearly identical. This as some tech leaders warn that artificial intelligence could eliminate many low-level positions often taken by recent grads.
ABC's Chuck Siebertson. One more AI note. Groupon has slashed up to 400 positions in an attempt to rebuild as an AI native company. They hope to use the money they save from the job cuts to build up their AI infrastructure. Still to come here on the 5 o'clock report, a recap of our top regional stories and highlights from today's Family Life Noon Report feature. But first, here's weather with Kevin.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. A quiet night is ahead tonight. We'll see moonlit skies and comfortably cool air. Temperatures will moderate a bit tomorrow ahead of the next disturbance. It'll bring a couple of showers to the area late tomorrow night, with cool air to follow for the weekend. Here's our forecast wrap-up for the night tonight. Mainly clear, moonlit skies. Comfortably cool overnight, low temps 40s and low 50s. Tomorrow, ample sunshine across eastern Pennsylvania. Sun and clouds elsewhere with some scattered showers later in the afternoon and evening across western and central New York. High temps 70s. Saturday is a cooler day. Morning cloud cover, sprinkle, then some sun. High temperature Saturday, though, only in the 60s.
Alrighty, thank you, Kevin. Now checking the stories, making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. Done deal this time. So say state lawmakers in New York, affirming that the only thing now needed to bring the state's 2-month-long budget drama to a close is Governor Kathy Hochul's signature on the dotted line. Family Life's Sarah Harnish with a look at whether it was worth the wait.
The $269 billion budget had wins for Democrats and Republicans. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani got a tax on second homes in the Big Apple, and Kathy Hochul made the state less hospitable to ICE agents. Also inside, more protections for kids online and a 50-foot perimeter around churches to protect against protesters. Originally, it was a 100-foot perimeter and included abortion clinics, but pro-life groups said that was a violation of free speech. And in the final version, only churches, not abortion centers, were included. Sarah Harnish, Family Life News.
All right, thank you, Sarah. A Buffalo, New York police officer continues to recover from multiple gunshot wounds suffered during a domestic dispute involving an armed combative suspect. It happened Tuesday. Police say that suspect resisted arrest, then pulled a concealed handgun during a struggle and shot the officer. Both were taken to Erie County Medical Center. The suspect undergoing surgery Tuesday. The officer continues to progress in his recovery. The investigation remains ongoing. A trio of cannabis shops in Broome County, New York, shut down on Wednesday. Police say those pot shops that ironically went by the name High Standards apparently didn't have any, allegedly selling illegal and untested products.
These illicit shops are selling product that hasn't been tested according to our standards with OCM. The adverse events that were reported being sourced from this location certainly speaks to that. And, if people are buying illicit cannabis from an unlicensed store that results in them going to the hospital, that's a problem.
Daniel Haney, Director of Enforcement and Investigations for the New York State Office of Cannabis Management. He tells WBNG pounds of product were removed from those locations after a raid. Several people had to be hospitalized for adverse health effects from those products. Up next, Eyes on the Sky, where sky watchers in New York and Pennsylvania will have a chance to witness a couple of interesting lunar events this Sunday. A rare show up there. A blue moon coinciding with a micromoon. Astronomers are calling it a blue micromoon. The full moon will peak Sunday morning and marks the second full moon of the month, or a blue moon. It's also a micromoon because it will occur near the moon's farthest point from Earth in its orbit. That makes the moon look a little bit smaller, though not blue. You'll have to get up early to see it, though. It happens around 4:46 a.m. Sunday. And the 19th annual NEPA Bluegrass Festival kicks off this weekend at Lazy Brook Park in Taconic Township. This year featuring not one, but two stages.
Two different stages have a progressive stage and then have a traditional stage. And the progressive stage is basically the younger crowd, drums, steel, guitar. I mean, it's more relaxed.
Festival organizer Danny Stewart, who tells WNEP.
The traditional stage, there's rules. No electric except for bass. Everything's mic'd. But we relax it a little bit, and on that progressive stage, there's no rules.
Banjo music just always sounds happy. The 3-day event starts Friday and will draw thousands of bluegrass fans from around the United States to northeastern Pennsylvania. All right, up next at 5, a Family Life News special report. Our own Bob Price sitting down with Scott Stutzman, principal of the Chautauqua Christian Academy in Jamestown, New York. Stutzman has publicly released letters he wrote to his son in college as life lessons to encourage the general public.
What was the inspiration for this project?
Very candidly, the inspiration was my son. I bet you I wrote him 50 to 60 stories before he left for college many years ago. And when he got home from college, he handed them all back to me and said, "Dad, you should make these public. They're awesome." And I'm like, no, I don't want to. But he said, "You really should." And so I started to make them public on social media, which led to the Post-Journal. And then the Post-Journal said, "We love these articles. We'd love to give you a weekly column."
Wow. It's called A Provoking Thought. That's the name of your column. Is there a theme, or is it just kind of random thoughts that you have? What's the motivation here for these columns?
The motivation is, if you look at social media in general, there is so much divisiveness in this world. There's drama and negativity. And I started to write the stories as encouragement, to try to give people hope in this world. It connects with people where they're at. And honestly, it connects back to the character of Christ.
Yeah.
And that's where real hope is, and that hope is in Jesus.
You said you did this when your son was away at college. He's now graduated. How many of these articles have you written?
I believe I've written 200 short stories. One day I said I'm going to name it A Provoking Thought, and it's not to provoke to upset, but to get people to reflect and think about their personal choices and perhaps even where can you find hope in this world.
And this is a weekly column you're doing?
It's the weekend column at the Post-Journal.
Okay.
I do additional stories on my Facebook page, and I do videos because lately I decided that I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to take some of these stories and I'm going to do almost like educational videos. I just got something yesterday from somebody across the nation. It just said, quote unquote, "These words are so powerful and needed in my life right now. Thank you for sharing."
Wow.
And it helped somebody in a time where they needed help.
This started as just letters to your son, and now it's become an entirely new thing. Why do you think it's become so popular?
Honestly, I think people are just frustrated, and they look around and there's wars, rumors of wars, there's financial things, and there's so much weight on people. I think it's just the right time where people are looking for something just to bring them up for a moment. I want to be a difference in this world. I want people to be able to say, you know what, that guy showed an example. He modeled an example, not just to the kids I'm responsible for in this school. I want to be able to bring light into this world. I've done it the other way. It doesn't work. The only light that changes lives, no matter who you are, is that of Jesus.
Amen.
And I'm hoping to show that in this world more and more as this page grows across this nation. And it's putting a lot on my plate, but you know what? I'm willing to do it. And this is a private guy that never wanted to be in front. That is not who I am. But I'm going to do it because I'm seeing it's helping people, not just locally. It's helping people across the nation.
That's Scott Stutzman, principal of the Chautauqua Christian Academy in Jamestown, New York. You can hear the entire interview online anytime at Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, or at FamilyLife.org. This is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Can the things you own actually satisfy you? Hi, I'm Rob West with a Faith and Finance Minute. Scripture makes it clear possessions aren't the problem. In fact, 1 Timothy 6:17 says, God richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. But here's the tension. Things make terrible saviors. It's like Paul David Tripp once said, a desire for a good thing becomes a bad thing when that desire becomes a ruling thing. The issue isn't what we have, it's what we trust. Enjoyment says, thank you, Lord. Dependence says, I need this to be okay. And that's where materialism begins. The good news? When we root our joy in God, not His gifts, we're finally free. Free to enjoy what we have and free to let it go. Manage your finances wisely with the easy-to-use FaithFi app. Download FaithFi, Faith and Finance from your app store, or learn more at faithfi.com.
Thank you, Mr. West. Finally, at 5, the healing power of music and of a caring music teacher. When 7-year-old Kalani Jennings was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of cancer, Dominique Kaiser, her music teacher at Virginia's Blackstone Primary School, was quick to make sure her young student wasn't facing this battle solo, but with a chorus of support. Kalani's mom says music class is her favorite, telling WTVR in Richmond.
She loves music. It's like a source of therapy for her when she's feeling kind of sad.
Teacher Kaiser quickly orchestrated a plan to help in any way she could, putting together care packages, making hospital visits, and then she dedicated the school's spring concert to its beloved missing singer.
On Wednesday, she finished what we hope will be her last chemo treatment.
Kalani's mom says the teacher's gestures struck just the right chord at just the right time.
The outpouring of love and support from everyone has meant so much. When she reached out to me, it was like, I want to include her. It made me feel like we weren't alone and that people were thinking of us and praying for us.
Showing love through music. And that's the world we live in for Thursday, May 28th, 2026. Thank you again for joining us. I'm Mark Webster, Family Life News.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.